The 2013 NFL Draft is widely regarded as one of the weakest draft classes in NFL history. But is that really fair? Today we'll look at everything from Hall of Famers to injury-riddled busts with more than a few total disappointments. And as we prepare to welcome in a new rookie class with this oncoming season, let's look back at one of the most unpredictable draft classes in NFL history as we revisit the 2013 NFL Draft.
2013 NFL Draft, the Kansas City Chiefs select Eric Fisher, tackle, Central Michigan.
The first overall pick of the 2013 NFL Draft was held by the Kansas City Chiefs, who selected Eric Fisher, an offensive tackle from Central Michigan. Having played his entire college career on the blind side, Fisher was bumped over to right tackle for Kansas City, and to say the least, he did struggle when he got moved over there. He ranked 55th in the league among right tackles by PFF, allowing 7 sacks and 35 pressures through 14 games. In his second season, he was moved back to left tackle and showed some improvement, but still allowed 7 sacks and 42 quarterback pressures. In 2015 and 2016, Fisher did show some improvements, but he never reached that true ceiling of what you hope to have with the number 1 overall pick. He did sign a 4-year extension with the Chiefs in 2016 and was a solid longtime starter, being a part of their successful 2019 Super Bowl run as well. Unfortunately, his career would end just a few years later though, largely because of a torn Achilles in the 2021 AFC Championship game. The team would go on to lose the Super Bowl against Tom Brady's Buccaneers, and he was released the following offseason, bouncing around the league for a little bit, but not signing with a team in 2024. He finished his career with 2 Pro Bowl selections and a Super Bowl ring.
In the 2013 NFL Draft, the Jacksonville Jaguars select Luke Joeckel, tackle, Texas A&M.
At pick number 2, the Jacksonville Jaguars selected Luke Joeckel, an offensive lineman from Texas A&M. Entering the 2013 NFL Draft, Joeckel was widely considered to be the best tackle on the board and a candidate for the number 1 overall pick. So when Fisher went number 1 to the Chiefs, the Jaguars pounced on the selection. Like Fisher, Joeckel was bumped to right tackle to start his career, but returned to the left side when the Jaguars traded their left tackle away earlier in the season. Sadly though, in only his 5th career game, he suffered a season-ending ankle injury. In his sophomore season, he managed to stay healthy through 16 starts, but he also allowed 8 sacks and 44 quarterback pressures. This prompted the Jaguars to upgrade at the position, moving Joeckel to left guard after signing Kelvin Beachum from the Steelers. Through 4 games, Joeckel actually looked like he was setting in, not allowing a sack and only 7 pressures, being graded by PFF as a top run blocker too. Unfortunately though, he needed early knee surgery in that October of that season and never returned. As a free agent, he signed a 1-year deal with the Seattle Seahawks to play left guard, and despite starting 11 games, he wasn't brought back, announcing his retirement in October of 2018.
With the 3rd pick in the 2013 NFL Draft, the Miami Dolphins select Dion Jordan, defensive end, Oregon.
At 3rd overall, the Dolphins selected Dion Jordan, a defensive end out of Oregon. And as a rookie, he did appear in all 16 games, but he just truly wasn't ready for the NFL yet. He was then suspended for a total of 6 games to start the 2014 season after 2 occasions of testing positive for performance-enhancing substances. And it got even worse the following year. He was then suspended for the entire 2015 season for another drug policy violation. Despite being conditionally reinstated before the 2016 season, Jordan didn't see the field at all and was cut the following offseason due to failing his physical. Jordan signed with the Seahawks in 2017, missing a lot of that season with a knee injury. He did flash with 4 sacks in just 5 games though, which encouraged the team to bring him back in 2018. Following yet another suspension-induced break, he signed with the 49ers practice squad in 2020. And oddly enough though, Dion's best season came in his final season too, when he appeared in 13 games for the Niners following injuries to Nick Bosa and Solomon Thomas. He had 3 sacks and 17 total tackles before retiring in 2021. And while Jordan never truly delivered on being such a high draft pick at number 3, it truly is interesting to see what his career might have been if he didn't go through all of those suspensions.
With the 4th pick in the 2013 NFL Draft, the Philadelphia Eagles select Lane Johnson, tackle, Oklahoma.
Now with the 4th overall pick, the Philadelphia Eagles maybe took the only Hall of Famer from the entire first round of this draft. Lane Johnson, the offensive tackle from Oklahoma, needs little introduction to anyone who has been terrorized by the Eagles offense in recent years. Ranked as the 3rd best tackle in the 2013 draft, Johnson was a no-doubt pick for the Eagles at 4th overall. Just like the 2 prospects picked before him, Johnson was expected to develop as a right tackle, but he was much more equipped for it. His timeline was accelerated when Eagles starting right tackle Dennis Kelly needed season-ending back surgery before the 2013 season even began. And I mean, despite being thrown into the fire, Johnson started all 16 regular season games at right tackle and made his first playoff debut that same year. The crazy thing though is, for as good as he's been throughout his career, he wasn't great as a rookie, allowing 11 sacks and 60 total pressures, but his run blocking was exceptional and earned him the starting job going forward. In his first 5 NFL seasons, Johnson faced 2 PED suspensions, but also made a Pro Bowl, started and won a Super Bowl, and signed the biggest right tackle contract in NFL history at the time. He was extended in 2019, becoming the highest paid offensive lineman in NFL history, regardless of position. And since signing that contract, Johnson has remained in the conversation as one of the best right tackles in football, as the Eagles have continuously fielded one of the best offensive lines on earth. Johnson has made 5 Pro Bowls and 2 All-Pro teams to go along with his Super Bowl ring. And at 34 years old, Johnson continues to build his first ballot Hall of Fame record. And he will definitely go down as one of probably only 2 good players from this first round of the 2013 draft.
With the 5th pick of the 2013 NFL Draft, the Detroit Lions select Ezekiel Ansah, defensive end, BYU.
Now with the 5th pick in the draft, the Lions took a swing by taking Ezekiel Ansah, a defensive end from Ghana by the way of Brigham Young University. After showing out at the Senior Bowl in 2013, Ansah's draft stock went through the roof, and he went from an unknown commodity to a consensus first rounder. And look, the Lions may have reached for him a little bit, or a lot of it I guess I should say, but his arrow had been pointing up ever since he had just shown up in America. Ansah made a solid impact for the Lions after earning a starting spot early. He posted 8 sacks in his rookie season, laying the foundation for a solid career that featured multiple double-digit sack years down the line. He earned a permanent starting role in 2014 and never surrendered it, starting off the edge for the Lions every season until he left. He was franchise tagged by the Detroit Lions in 2018, but a combination of injury and just declining production kept them from signing him long-term. The Lions let Ziggy walk and he joined the Seahawks and 49ers in 2019 and 2020, but that was before retiring following a season-ending bicep injury in 2020.
With the 6th pick in the 2013 NFL Draft, the Cleveland Browns select Barkevious Mingo, defensive end, LSU.
The Cleveland Browns selected Barkevious Mingo out of LSU with the 6th overall pick. Having played inside linebacker during his college career, Mingo was moved to outside by the Browns after he was signed. Despite the Browns' failures in 2013, Mingo left his rookie season with 5 sacks, 4 pass breakups, and 42 tackles in 15 games. Unfortunately though, he really never became effective outside of his rookie season. Like, don't get me wrong, he still made plays, matching his tackle numbers in 2014 and catching his only career interception in 2015, but he was traded out of Cleveland for a 5th round pick during the 2016 preseason. And the crazy part about all of this is that he actually was a part of that Patriots Super Bowl team in 2017, but that success just wasn't enough to grant him like an extension of any sort, so he's just kind of become a journeyman since. And now in his final 4 years of his career, Mingo would sign with the Colts, Seahawks, and Bears, and even Falcons. He was also traded by the Seahawks in the Jadeveon Clowney trade to the Texans. And I mean, Mingo saw lots of regular season and playoff action, but he never managed to stand out enough to maintain a roster spot. Unfortunately, Mingo's career came to an abrupt end when he was arrested and released by the Falcons. Those charges were eventually dismissed, but he hasn't appeared on an NFL roster since. The Cardinals were the 7th overall pick, where they selected guard Jonathan Cooper. The North Carolina graduate showed why he was such a high-value target early in his career, being named the Cards' left guard before even training camp started. Unfortunately though, injuries just kind of kept Cooper from really reaching his high draft status, as he broke his left fibula in a preseason game, missing his entire rookie season. He was projected to be the starter in 2014, but then just kept getting injured and having knee and foot injuries, which allowed him never to have that starting spot. Cooper managed to start 10 games at right guard in 2015, but he missed more time with another knee injury and was traded to the Patriots in exchange for Chandler Jones. And honestly, for the rest of his career, he was just really playing as a stopgap or just had a bunch of injuries and never even saw the field. He was cut from the Patriots and was a temporary guard for the Cleveland Browns and sprained his MCL with the Cowboys. His talent earned him other chances, but repeated surgery and recoveries have taken their toll on his body, and he failed to ever hold a roster spot, bouncing between the 49ers, Washington, and the Raiders before retiring.
With the 8th pick in the 2013 NFL Draft, the St. Louis Rams select Tavon Austin, wide receiver, West Virginia.
Now, with the 8th overall pick in the 2013 NFL Draft, one of the most iconic college football players of all time was selected in Tavon Austin from West Virginia. And I mean, look, in his rookie season, he had flashes of why he was selected with the 8th overall pick, highlighted by a game in which he had 2 catches for 138 yards and 2 touchdowns, while also working as a kick and punt returner. He did remain a solid returner throughout his entire career, but I mean, honestly, his receiving end never really caught up to how good he was as a returner and just was more of like a gadget guy in my book. His career highs were set in 2016 when he had 58 receptions for just 509 yards. He always worked as a utility man and a special teamer, but his ceiling wasn't nearly as high as what it looked like at West Virginia. In 2016, Austin signed a large extension with the Rams, but after his production completely plummeted in 2017, he agreed to avoid most of it and was traded to the Cowboys. His 2018, 19, and 20 season were completely plagued by injuries, and he was a traveling receiver for the rest of his career before he retired in 2022.
With the 9th pick in the 2013 NFL Draft, the New York Jets select D. Milner, defensive back, Alabama.
Now at 9th overall, the New York Jets took their shot at the first defensive back off the board, drafting cornerback D. Milner out of Alabama. After joining the Jets, D struggled, being benched multiple times early on before settling in and nabbing 3 interceptions in his final 2 games. And I mean, despite this rocky start to his career, in 2014, he actually was projected to be the starting cornerback for the Jets. And I mean, the kid was so confident that in an offseason statement, he said that he was going to be the best cornerback in the league. As crazy as that was, though, he was completely unable to prove his point, though, after an ankle sprain pushed back his return and a torn Achilles kept him just 3 games in his sophomore season. Unfortunately, the rest of Milner's career was more of the same, as in 2015, he needed wrist surgery and did not appear outside of a limited special teams role, and in 2016, he was waived and released from the Jets, never to be picked up by another team. And I mean, due to the early struggles, it's hard to say really of anything besides that D. Milner was probably a bust because of all these injuries that he faced. And because of that, he really was never able to really pick himself back up and really revive his career. He was involved in a bar fight following his release from New York and hasn't even been able to be worked out by another team as far as I can tell. So if you're looking for a certified bust of this draft, look no further than D. Milner.
With the 10th pick in the 2013 NFL Draft, the Tennessee Titans select Chance Warmack, guard, Alabama. How about that?
Rounding out the top 10, we have Chance Warmack, the guard from Alabama who was drafted by the Tennessee Titans. Warmack started all 16 games in his rookie year before being moved to right guard. His availability remained constant as he didn't miss a game for 3 straight years until a hand injury took him away for most of the 2016 season. The Titans decided not to retain their anchor of a left guard and let him walk in free agency, where he signed with the Eagles before the 2017 season. Along with fellow 2013 draftee, Warmack was part of the 2018 Eagles Super Bowl win, and although Warmack did so as a backup and a special teamer, he still was a part of that team. He remained at backup for another season in Philly, then took off 2 years from football, and when he returned following the COVID-19 pandemic, the league had moved far away from him and Warmack failed to ever make another NFL roster. And I think it's safe to say that Chance Warmack is one of the biggest disappointments of the 2013 draft, even if he wasn't anywhere near the biggest bust. He was one of the best prospects in the entire draft, and even though he played 3 great years for the Titans, they kicked him to the curb after 1 injury. Like, I mean, maybe there was just another underlying reason of why they cut him besides just that injury, but I mean, he was just so mediocre everywhere else he went. And honestly, I kind of blame the Titans for squandering all that talent that just fell into their lap at the 10th overall pick. And really considering how long top athletes keep their careers, it's really disappointing for me to see literally 1 player on the top 10 still actively playing. Like, I mean, if you ask me truly, I think that the 2013 draft has to be one of the worst draft classes in probably the past 10 to 20 years. Like, the only real players of note are Travis Kelce, DeAndre Hopkins, and Lane Johnson. Other guys like Zach Ertz, Darius Slay, and Geno Smith have carved out nice careers, but we also saw plenty of other burnouts such as Eddie Lacy and quarterback EJ Manuel. Luckily though, NFL drafts and just honestly the development of prospects has gotten so much better, so I really doubt that we're ever going to see a draft class as bad as 2013 was, especially in that top 10 that we went over today. But I want to know what you guys think. Let me know what draft class we should do next. As I said before, we're doing 2014 to 2015, and then we'll put them all together and kind of give my whole review of them. But let me know what you guys want to see next. Make sure you join our Discord if you haven't, so you can be a part of all the football activities we are doing this season and a part of all the giveaways too. And as always, I will catch you guys in the next one.